All right, continuing on here, we're going to take our part and we are going to lay some layout solution on it. So this is step 2 on the procedures down here. Apply layout blue or layout red because that's what we have here. You'd go here to your fire cabinet, has everything in it that we would need for chemicals, and we're going to go with a Dicam red. So the way this works is you just pull this out with this cap. It's got a little brush in the end of it, and you're just going to take that and you're going to brush it on your part and kind of paint it a nice red color. And this is just marking solution so that you can see when you're going to scribe it where your scribe lines are. So and it's coming out a little bit funny, but it'll work. So the nice thing about this stuff is that it dries really quickly. I get a little bit more on there. I think it probably needs to be shook up a little bit. There, it looks a little more red. That's the stuff. So you don't have to go crazy on here. You're just going to get a nice thin layer on there, and it dries pretty quickly. I just blow on it lightly so I can get it to dry quicker. Otherwise, what we're going to do then, we have numerous options here for marking this. So the idea is we're going to go through and we're going to look at our blueprint. And I don't know how well you can see this here right now. Hopefully you can print out your version, you'll get a better visual. So all the holes all have dimensions of where they are located from the edge of the part. And if we look really closely on here, basically everything comes off of this upper left-hand corner. You can see the dimensions, like this one here's a 1/2 inch from the edge in. This one's 2 inches in from the edge. So it's giving you dimensions and it all comes off of this edge. And then when we go vertical, it tells you the location of, you know, these holes here are in plane with this 1/2 inch dimension. So they're a 1/2 inch down from that edge. And then it tells you, oh, okay, this hole here is 1 1/4 inches down from that edge. So basically everything comes off of this upper left-hand corner, which is pretty common on a blueprint. That's the way you'll usually see it. I won't always say it's like that, but usually. So we're gonna take, and I like to do this in my corner. It's kind of just make a mark here and make that my origin corner, and I just paint that red so I can see where my true 0 is at. So this is where everything on this corner is kind of my 0 point, if that makes sense. So whenever I get lost in orientation or whatever, I can always go back and know that that's the corner of where I'm at. So I said this dries quickly, but you can see it's leaking in my hands here a little bit, but it's pretty much dry enough to do what we want to do. So we're going to scribe this with a height gauge. We have a digital height gauge here. On the end of these, they have it's a carbide scribe. So these are meant for measuring heights or for marking. And that's why the end of this is carbide, just because it's harder and it'll scribe really nicely. And you can see we have different style ones. Another one here, another one here. So we're learning from the beginning here. So we're gonna go old school and we're gonna use the vernier height gauge. So I'm gonna just take this and slide this over, and I'm gonna slide this block right out so we can kind of see what's going on. So I look here and I've got to mark all my dimensions. We're going to start back and forth. It's considered the x-axis, so we will go that way to lay out our holes to start with. So I'm going to orient my drawing just like my part would be. So if I want to scribe these lines, you can do it different ways. You could go up and set it up this way and, you know, take your part and, you know, scribe and then scribe down a 1/2 inch and down 2 inches. But truly, your length of your part might be off, so it's better to take that origin corner and put that down on the table. So I'm going to flip this upside down and I'm going to do everything backwards. So now I'm looking at my drawing and I'm going to put my drawing in the same orientation as what my part is. So my 0 is down on this edge, and then I'm going to take this and slide it down. And this is a granite surface plate here. These are very flat and true. So if I go down to this, that is a true 0 position right now. So then I'm going to lift it up and I'm going to move it up a 1/2 inch in length and scribe my first line because that's where those holes are at. So I go up And typically when I use this, I like to do this and actually lock the top of this. I don't really use this lock at all. I only use this lock. And then this here is like a jack screw. So this will screw it up or down so I can do a fine adjustment to get it positioned right where I want to be. So I'm at a 1/2 inch there right now. I'm happy with that. The other trick you can do here is you can take like an angle plate like this. And I'm gonna set this right on the granite. And now it's a stabilizing platform for the back of it. And again, my 0 right now is down in this lower corner right now. So it's the same as this. I'm in the same orientation as where my drawing is. I'm gonna hold my part and I'm gonna scratch a line. And you can see now, do it once or twice. You can see the line shows up on the part there pretty clearly, so you can get a visual of where those holes are gonna be located. All right, so if I follow my dimensions up here, the next dimension is 2 inches up from the far edge of the part, or where we are. So I'm just going to go and lift it up 2 inches. Go close, lock that down, use my jack screw to fine tune it. And if we think about it, the part is 4 inches in length and we're going at 2 inches right now. So we're about halfway on the height. And visually it looks like, yeah, that's about halfway. So right there, I'm going to scribe another line. All right, so we've scribed that one. Now we're gonna go up and we have one more set of holes over here. Those are at 3.5 inches. So I'm gonna make one more adjustment here. Bring this up to 3.5. Lock that, fine tune it. And we're gonna go right here and scribe a line there. So now we have 3 lines scribed on our part so we can see where those holes are going to be. Now what we're gonna do is, just like we're looking at it here, we're gonna take the same visual here, and this is that corner, our origin corner. So that's our origin corner there. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna flip that down. So we're gonna take our drawing and almost flip it upside down and flip this down just so it's in the same orientation. And now we're gonna look at how far each one of these holes is from the edge. So go back, loosen this up, and we're gonna go to a 1/2 inch. Set it there. Fine tune it, and same thing, scribe a line. So got a line scribed there. We go up, we've got a line or a set of holes at 1.25 inches. So we're gonna do that one. So loosen this up to 1.25 inches. And if you think about it, 2.5 inches is the overall length. 1.25 inches is exactly half of 2.5. Visually, yeah, that looks like half. Good. And we scribe again. Now in this one, if I flip over to the far side here, there's more holes. So what we just learned here is that this hole's at 1.25 inches and that hole's at 1.25 inches, but this hole here is actually at 1.5 inches. So I need to flip this one more time and bring it up to 1.5 inches. And if you want to here, just so you don't confuse yourself, you could just scribe it on this side of the part so you know that, hey, there's gonna be a hole over here and I don't have to go all the way across here. That'll just make life maybe easier as I'm scribing, or I have to punch all these out so I'll be able to discern which ones I need there. And then the last one is at 2 inches here. So one final adjustment.